Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to the Richland County Transportation Ad Hoc Committee meeting. It is Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024. It's 4 p.m. This meeting will now come to order. Madam Clerk, take the roll, please.
McBride, Livingston,
Here.
Weaver,
Here.
Walker,
Here.
Mackey.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Also, let the record reflect that we have in attendance for this afternoon's meeting, Councilwoman Allison Terracio, good to see you. Vice Chair, Mr. Derek Pugh, along with Councilman Jason Branham. Good to see you as well, Councilman. Next item on the agenda is item 2, approval of the minutes. Any changes, additions, or deletions to the minutes from September 24th, 2024?
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved to properly second. Any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk?
Livingston,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next item on the agenda is 3, adoption of the agenda. Any changes, additions, or deletions? Mr. Brown?
No requested changes.
All right. Anything?
Approve, Mr. Chair.
All right, second.
Second.
Moved to properly second. Any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk?
Livingston,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next item on the agenda is item 4, items for information. 4A, transportation penny update. Mr. Brown, you are recognized.
Thank you, sir. We do have Director Maloney for Transportation who's going to provide an update. He's provided some documentation for you. And then after that, Mr. Chair, we'll take any questions that you may have related to the information that's provided. But if you'll recognize Director Maloney, we'll proceed with the agenda.
Director Maloney, you recognize, sir.
Thank you, Chair Walker. We have a handout that came to your desk just today so that you'll have leave behind on this report. So this is projects in motion update, projects in construction, those preparing for bidding, projects are in or just moved to right-of-way acquisition, and then just to show on the backside our projects in design that are waiting to go to these levels. In construction, we've had Blythewood Road widening in construction. Anticipated completion date is between July and September at 25. They've been working on relocating underground utilities and completing both sides of the shared use path and sidewalk. Sunset Drive sidewalk construction, that project started in May and it's intended to be completed in February of 25. They've just completed the water main work that they're doing and moving then into the retaining walls that'll be occurring along Sunset Drive where necessary along some of the steep slopes. And then that'll be then moving into sidewalk construction. Dirt Road Package O is in the next 2 weeks will be completed with asphalt paving. Projects Nathan Ridge Lane, Jackson Road in District 10, Sarah Matthews Road in District 7, and Howard Kugler Road in District 1. Alpine Road resurfacing and sidewalk improvements are nearing complete. They had an anticipated completion date in August, but they're doing closeouts right now, restoring any banks that had some erosion due to the past storms, and completing that. They have their thermal road pavement markings to complete as well, but they're out doing those final punch list items on Alpine Road. Alice Road widening had its pre-construction meeting that occurred on October 11th and has a planned start date of November 4th. That'll be for the widening project, that'll be the utility relocation part. The street part hasn't been bid at this time. So they're going to be relocating the utilities that include sewer and water, and then the communications and power utilities. Percival Road sidewalk, pre-construction meeting is planned to occur early November with construction following shortly thereafter. On November 1st at 11 a.m. there is a groundbreaking ceremony for Percival Road. And then our final package as far as estimated amounts, and we, these sometimes have come in where we've had some money left over, but the last available funding of about $6 million for resurfacing will occur this winter. Likely the actual paving would occur then on the other side of winter in the early spring. But that is a package U that'll be coming to Transportation Ad Hoc in the near future. Projects in right-of-way acquisition. So we have Broad River widening. We were just processing today. I was just processing about 30 payments to landowners for right-of-way acquisition. We've processed 20 more in the past, so those are moving along. That is also where they're working on final plans and have a upcoming meeting with DOT regarding not relocating a 54-inch water main. Pineview Road widening is also in right-of-way acquisition, so down in District 10 and 11. This is we're starting to get information too and feedback from some of the property owners regarding their needs, particularly some of the industries that have their own concerns about utility relocations, where they may have investments of trees and other things in front of their parking areas and facilities. So we're taking up those meetings, and then they were also meeting with our real estate negotiator. So that began in April. The Smith Rocky Branch Greenway, we've sent information to the property owners. We've gotten all the permits we need with both CSX and with Norfolk Southern. And so I guess we still need a permit from CSX. And Norfolk Southern's permit was received, and usually CSX follows that. So with that, and then the easements we need for the greenway, that would be able to proceed on to construction. Dirt road paving program, there's several roads in Richland County that are in getting appraisals if needed, or having right-of-way agents meet with them to talk about property acquisition needed for the right-of-way to convert it from a dirt road to a paved road. And so we're utilizing our on-call engineering team to help us with that. We have 4 different acquisition specialists working on that from different firms, and they're also checking the consent denials as they go to ensure that we are indeed, have a majority in favor of the road and not a majority denying it. Then we received our authorization to proceed on past week or so. We've received 3 authorizations to proceed into right-of-way acquisition on projects for Spears Creek Church Road widening project, the Lower Richland Boulevard widening project, and then the Broad River Corridor Neighborhood Improvement Plan project. And then finally, Decker Woodfield neighborhood improvement. We have a couple of acquisitions needed on Brookfield Road and permissions on Hunt Club Road, but otherwise we received the authorizations to proceed with those projects as far as construction. The list of projects in design is intended just to show the scope of what's remaining in the penny. So, I won't go through the whole list, but from Bluff Road, the phase 2 part, where that's at, and just to give you an idea of, the work in the design going on those. So Bluff Road, Blythewood area improvement, Shop Road widening, Clumpson Road and Sparkleberry intersection, Kelly Mill Road, Shop Road extension phase 2, Crane Creek Greenway, Gills Creek Greenway, Columbia Mall Greenway, and then our neighborhood improvement plans for Trentham, Newcastle, Crane Creek, and CERN 2, which are all, by the way, awaiting encroachment permits, and then they can be bid out to construction. We're finding the encroachment permit process is one of the slower processes going on as far as getting those comments back from DOT to finalize an encroachment permit and get the permit. It's a 1-step process, so it should be quicker. but it's one where I think they're the most shorthanded. Dirt road paving program. There's several projects in design, as we said. We do have an emphasis, and I had mentioned it on the other side, on District 10. We completed a pro rata around the county, and that was District 10 and then District 2 are areas that needed to be brought ahead to meet the pro rata required in Chapter 21. And then Three Rivers Greenway Phase 2 was exciting when Penny would be ready to bid that out. So they have final plans, they have their permits. We're checking on a couple underpass permits for I-126 and the railroad, but they had all their core and DHEC permits to do that project. And that's where council had approved $2.2 million maximum to go to that project, to extend from Boyd Island up along the west bank of the Broad River, crossing under I-26 and the railroad, to get to a point where the Boyd Foundation's funds would take over to build the large bridge span over the Broad River. And they're also building kind of a step to get up there, you know, with the maximum grades that you can ride before you hit a flat spot. They're taking care of that part, and we're looking at the part from there back down to Boyd Island. So they have final plans. They have the approval from the city, and with a couple things we need, their final specs, we'll be able to bid that out. Bikeways, we're awaiting a request from the city of Columbia for funds that we have for 8 bikeways within the city. They were awaiting hiring a specialist in that area before they requested the fund. And that's the report we have for projects in motion.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Director Maloney, just one quick question. This Decker Woodfield Performing Land Acquisition Brookfield Hunt Club, that's right outside my district. In case I get asked, what exactly are y'all doing there?
It's a sidewalk, so Brookfield is a sidewalk from Decker to the high school. And
Richland Northeast?
Yes, sir. And then there's a point where there's also another project to go through the woods, basically, with a greenway, a wide sidewalk. That we're still working out with Richland, RCRC, Richland Rec Commission.
Okay.
But that's what that one is. And then Hunt Club is a road that runs parallel to that to the north. Again, from, and it doesn't go all the way to Decker, but it goes to O'Neill Court. And then it gets to the road that I'm trying to remember, coming north and south where that trail would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
On the reference Sunset Drive sidewalk construction, it'll be completed, you said, in February 25. Will the road be closed until then?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I actually have a couple of questions, and I appreciate the city employing a specialist regarding the bikeways. In fact, I had a question particularly about the Atlas Road widening, which I understand also has a bikeway component to it. And what I'm understanding from some folks I've been speaking to is that this is a pretty busy road, and then the bike lane would just be one side of the road, and then there would also be like just a painted bike lane, and then there's also a sidewalk associated with it. And so I guess my question is, did we consult with any kind of specialist regarding that? Because what my concern is, and this goes back to my very first days on council, is that there was a penny project that had just a painted bike lane on a pretty busy road, and motorists kind of weren't used to that. They ended up, after some issues, having to grind up that road and then repave it with no bike lane. And so I just wanted to get some clarity around that project and what state it's in and that sort of thing.
I can compare those two projects, if I may. So, I wasn't here, but I certainly hear the trailing stories.
Legendary.
Yes. So that was a road diet, from what I understand, and taking a 4-lane road down to create a bike lane. And so, in the difference that I bring up with Atlas Road in particular, from Shop Road to Garner's Ferry Road, is that we're going from a 2-lane rural road with no bike facilities, no pedestrian facilities, to a 5-lane road with 5-foot bike lanes on each side and 5-foot sidewalks outboard that on each side. I did have a gentleman come into with that expertise in bike planning or at least operation, and they did talk about, maybe more of the users would be not bike commuters that would use bike lanes, but say children and things like that using bikes. And in that case, why don't you remove bike lanes and extend out the sidewalk to be wider, like a shared use path? Now, the planning of the project occurred also before my time, so I can't speak to who was involved in the planning of that project in particular. But and there may be something to that, but we don't know. When you look at that particular corridor, there are residential areas, but there are significant amounts of industry on Alice Road, where we would typically have commuters and bike lanes. There was a concern where we originally had 4-foot wide bike lanes, and would narrow the driving lanes to allow for 5-foot bike lanes, which are not significantly wider, but they give you more clearance for bikes, as they may travel not as consistently as a vehicle. So that is still the plan. That detail hasn't been bid out as of yet. So and I will say that going through the past council actions, there was a action to not do shared use paths, to go to Bikeways facilities in the past, in about 2019. And so that affected any shared use paths that weren't part of a widening project that already had that, ingrained in it, and was not descoped.
Thank you, because thank you. So one of the things that I continue to hear about is just ensuring that bikers have more protection. And I understand there's a widening, the widening of the bike path is great. And also the sort of visual narrowing to kind of slow cars and make them pay attention. The wider the road, the faster you go. I don't have to tell you that. And so just wanted to continually advocate for folks who are actually using the bike lanes to be protected, if at all possible. And then I have one more question, and that's also regarding just the specialist. I'm happy to see that the Smith Rocky Branch Greenway is in acquisition, and then we have other greenways coming down the pike. And have we looked toward specialist or expertise for the greenways?
We looked to the OETs that were approved by council to utilize for design. That was a list put out through procurement back in that time. And we just put that out again because that's going to come due in February as far as the 5-year contract expiring. So I can't say that, that we attracted a lot of bike specialists. I did find some really nice plans on the plans I just discussed for phase 2 of the Three Rivers Greenway. We know who they are, and certainly with staff augmentation and other flexibilities that we could bring people that were experts in different areas like that into the realm of, helping guide our projects that are specialty like bike facilities.
Thank you. And our mutual friend at the River Alliance, who helped so much with the Three Rivers Greenway, I think could probably also speak to just managing the area around, like the neighbors of the Greenway is probably as important as even maybe the design of it all. So, thank you.
Questions or Buddy? Dr. Maloney, I have a question. It's about projects in construction. Are any of those projects managed by DOT or are all of those projects managed by the county?
You caught me, sir. I don't have any that are managed by DOT on here.
No, it's okay. I was just curious if any are managed by DOT or if they're all being managed by us.
That would be adding Hardscrabble and Leesburg Road that they are managing.
Okay. Questions? That's it, Director Maloney. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Further business, item on the agenda is 5, adjournment. I need a motion.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Move to properly second it. That's non-debatable, Madam Clerk.
Livingston. Weaver.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.